Good morning, friends. We have a special Sunday service today with the presence of Swami Yogatmananda ji from Providence. Those who attended the very retreat yesterday, they know their introduction has already been said, and those who are coming only today and who have not heard him earlier, they need the introduction again. I believe many of you have already heard him. Very impressive. It was a very wonderful retreat that we had yesterday. We all enjoyed immensely. There were 100 participants. It was very successful, and everyone was overwhelmed with the presentation that Swami gave. Swami Yogatmananda is the president of the Vedanta Society of Providence, Rhode Island. He was born in 1953 in Karnataka, India. Swami Yogatmananda joined Ramakrishna order in 1976. He received his monastic vows in 1986. After being at Ramakrishna Math Center at Nagpur, India for 20 years, he was posted as the head of the Ramakrishna Mission, Shillong, Meghalaya, India. He came to the United States in the summer of 2001 as the minister of the Vedanta Society of Providence. His present responsibilities include conducting Sunday service, weekly study classes, and organizing spiritual retreats. He is invited to preach Vedanta at different places in the United States and Canada. Swami Yogatmananda is the Hindu religious affiliate at the Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island, and the Hindu chaplain at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Swami also grants personal interviews to earnest seekers. So I request Swami Yogatmananda to give his talk on doing business. Swami Yogatmananda.
Thank you, dear Yogatmananda ji, and thank you all friends. I always enjoy coming here. It is a wonderful atmosphere that you all have maintained, a spiritual atmosphere. And the inspirational thoughts come automatically. So, speaking here is in a way very easy because the inspiration is there, and also a very receptive, very intelligent audience. So, I like to discuss the wonderful themes of Vedanta with the devotees here. And one important idea in Vedanta that you see, that it is intensely practical. It is not just a theoretical idea or matters to be discussed just intellectually, but the test is practicality. everything in our day-to-day life is touched by the philosophy or doctrine of Vedanta to enliven it. And one of these things is doing business. It is sometimes when I first thought of giving lecture on this, I tried it in Providence, our own people, so they will not shoot me down. It is. But there was a little murmur that doing business, how can this be a subject to be discussed at Vedanta Society? No, take up some Upanishad or some spiritual discipline. This is not the place for discussing business. There are other forums for that. It is, but Vedanta enters into every practical aspect of our life. And business is also an important thing. So, actually, this topic has been in my mind when I was a college student. I was not thinking of speaking about it then, but one Swami who was telling us about a verse in Bhagavad Gita, to which I will come soon. What he said about it really touched me, that yes, our spiritual life is also to be lived with a business-like attitude. We must have business. You hear this expression quite often, I mean business. Means I am serious about it. It is not a matter of just idle talk, but I am serious about it. I mean business. In business, one considers various aspects of the business thoroughly, at least one should. Some time back, I had occasion to live in a family, with a family, and I saw the husband and wife, they had separate businesses. And then I saw the husband was loaning some sum to wife. It was being given as loan, and all the documents and papers, they were getting signed. Said, well, you are a very loving family, why you need to do all this loan and all such formalities? Just, no, that both of them said, business is business. Business is business. Love, very good. We are a very loving family, excellent. But business is business. Everything has to be done methodically, legally. In business, we are not husband and wife. He has his business, I have my business. So it is, and it really struck me, not that they had any dispute in the family life, or very good, but they had this, when the family matters are kept outside of the business, means what? The emotions are not allowed to intervene there much. Emotions should not topple or distort the business picture. Emotions are very good. They have space, their own space in life, very important. But business is business. Also, I went to see one restaurant owner. I had some in Providence. We are very good friends, and so I went to see him, and I decided to go and see him at his restaurant because he said he cannot come over. He is very busy. So I went there, and then we took lunch together at the restaurant. And I was surprised to see that with the manager, he actually placed order with all that whatever is needed, and then was being executed as the order. And I wonder why, you are the owner of the business, and you are getting it for yourself, and you are also giving me. And what is this? You have actually placed officially an order that would go into accounts. He said, well, business is business. This is part of business. It is restaurant that is providing the food. It should be accounted for. It is not to go without accounting. A very particular man. And when it comes to business, one important thing is, investment. We should have to invest something. But a businessman calculates that what things need to be invested. To keep investment to minimum is good, so that the risk of losing also is minimum. And every factor that comes into investment, big or small, is to be properly calculated. Just because something looks like small and not a big deal, no, not like that, and put it down there. Because many small things together make a big thing. So therefore every small thing is to be also put in. Nothing is too small in itself. It could look like small, but then many things added like that make it a big thing. So you have to really need to know what you are putting in. More or less, whatever, but you should have a clear idea of what you are putting in. What happens many times is that certain things are not properly calculated. Oh, well, I am running business from my home. Well, but the space in the home is getting used for it. It is being used for you. Calculate that this much you are giving to the business. Put it into calculation. Many things that you take for granted, put it in the equation there, that this is part of investment. You will be spending a lot of time in doing business, and that is your time investment. Put it in there. And also have a proper budget. See what returns you can get over it. Returns over investments, that ROI, as they put it in short, that return over investment. What kind of returns you can reasonably expect. Make an objective assessment. A proper assessment is to be made. I have friends seen many businesses, many people who start businesses, the business doesn't run properly, soon gets into a lot of problems, debts and so forth, and ultimately gets shut down, goes into bankruptcy maybe. And one of the reasons behind it is that no proper assessment is made in an objective manner. Lot of emotions and fantasies they come into picture there. Fantasies in themselves are not bad. They are very good, in fact. They are the poetry of life. It is, you should have wonderful imagination. The problem comes when that fantasy is taken for a fact. One should learn to separate the fantasies from facts. The facts are facts, fantasies are fantasies. Learning to look at the fantasies as fantasies is an important step in doing business properly. We already saw that in business you have the emotions are to be kept outside of the equation. Investments, as investment, you should not think too emotionally that yes, emotions have their place, but I won't let them interfere with my business. It is not a very pleasant experience, but I had this experience once at one of our Ramakrishna missions. One man used to come and we had some job, and he said, I am a contractor, I can do it for you. And we thought that is a wonderful devotee, maybe he will give us lot of concession and will do the job well. Later on, when the job was getting done, it was seen that the job was kind of shabbily done and we had to pay much more than what we otherwise would have probably paid. And when I said, well, we thought that you are a devotee and you will do this work so nicely, he said, Swami, business is business. It is important to learn. It was a good lesson for me. That it is a devotee and all, that is one thing. But it is, I am not trying to say that what he was doing is right. Cheating is not right even in business. But the principle is very important to see that he would do prayers and all, but when coming to business, it is the idea is to make maximum profit. And he said that other people, they won't trust me, but you think that I am a devotee, so you will trust me, and so this is my opportunity to get more profit. So it is interesting to see not that it is this attitude is to be supported, but one can learn from it that in business you have to see the proper opportunity and generate your this income when there is opportunity available. Also, another thing is, don't get despaired and don't feel depressed when the expectations are not met. There has to be perseverance in business. If a little loss and you give it up, then that person is not fit to do business. It is, one should be taking the gains and the loss in its stride. So, that is an important thing. One friend of mine who I am not going to give details because he is still very closely connected with different Vedanta societies and ashramas in India. Very nice man. But he had this always hunch will come to him. He had a nice job and all, but let me do business. In job, what I am earning after all, nothing much. There is so much of scope to do business. So he decided to get one product from Chennai and sell it in some other remote place. And he told me about all his plans. And I raised some doubts as to validity of any of them. I told that it is going to be a big investment for you. Have you calculated all that? It is the transportation cost, the loss in transportation. Have you thought about that? The perishability of that product. Did you think about that? They are minor things. It is just. I don't have to worry. I know all those things. And he had imagined that people will fall for that product and they will just go on buying it. And then the imagination, goes, you let it loose and then it starts flying high and high and high. Probably he already was imagining that he has become a billionaire and all that by selling that product, and that he will soon flood the markets of that place with it. He told me he has done survey and all the shoppers, they have assured him that they will buy and sell all those things. Said, they assured, but what is the basis of their assurance? Did you think? Oh no, it is, what is there to think? They told. Now that they started business, after a while, at our ashrama, he started bringing the packets of that material, that what he was bringing and selling. And he said, no, it is just free, And then soon I realized he is not able to sell anything. He suffered a big loss in it. Why? Because not understanding the difference between facts and fancies, not calculating everything. When you calculate the risks, you should calculate rather on a bigger scale. That even though the calculation is showing the risk factor to be something, double it. Because you may have missed calculations and many things you have not taken into account, double it. And when you are calculating your gains, you bloat the figure. Imagination plays a big role. That the market will rise so half it. Think of it that your cost will be, if you think $50, think of it as $100. And your gain, if you are thinking as $500, make it $250. Because many things you do not know. If your calculations go wrong and if your actually investment was less, very good, you are not to worry about it. You can take it. So, this is one important factor in doing business. Think about it and plan everything. Planning is important for businesses. If you want to do business, plan everything meticulously. And then be goal-oriented. The objectives are to be met. There has to be dedication in business. The things may, other things can be compromised, but your business you cannot compromise with. That is to be done with all integrity, whatever it is. But you should, other, say, family matters are there, some other things are there. You like sports, you want to go to some sports meets. But when it is the time for business, all those things should be kept aside and be focused. Business requires focus, and that I will be focused on that, one-pointed focus. It is said that of a dying businessman, it is a funny story, and he was lying on the deathbed. He had a shop and he had 4 sons. As he was counting the last moments, all his 4 sons came near him and he said, John, hi Dad, I am here. Oh good. Tim, yes Dad, I also am here. Matthew, oh yes, I too am here Dad. Fred, oh yes Dad, I too am here. If you are 4 are here, who is there managing the store? Because that is to be important thing, it is business. Somebody has to be there to manage it. What is this? That you all left it and came here? Not a good idea. So, it is, what I want to say is that you need to have focus, which has to be kept up. Why I am telling all this is, we have to calculate all this in our spiritual life also. Life is a serious affair, We have to lead the life in this manner that we will be able to make maximum out of it. We will be able to achieve the life, everything from the life that it has to offer. And what can we achieve from life? Something that is really tangible, something that I really want, that I should try to get from life. Not something that will look nice but will be trash, something that will promise pleasure but will not actually deliver it. Let me decide on that what I want from my life, and let it become the focus of my life, and then determine, put all my energies to get it. This is an important thing that we come to when we think of the ultimate goal of our life. What can be the ultimate goal of life, and how do I go about the business of achieving that goal? It is to be taken seriously. I mean, yes, that my goal of life is important. I am putting my life as investment in it. Single-pointedly, I am progressing. I have to progress towards it. The attention should be there. So, the investment should be as less as I can put in. Risk should be minimum. So, the risk factor is an important thing. Where the risk is minimum, I have to calculate that. Otherwise, the risk is much more, and what I invest is gone. I don't want that. It is minimum risk and maximum gain. That is the ideal of the investors, that minimum risk, maximum gain. And Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita tells Arjuna about doing business like this. He says that Neha Vikramana Shosti, this investment is such that it will never go waste. You begin this business and then meet a big loss and all that you achieved was gone. No. Whatever you take up, it does not get wasted. It takes you forward. It is never wasted. And pratyavayona vidyate, is there something wrong will come out of it? Will there be some side effects of this business that I will have to worry about? Said, no, nothing. And also, even if you practice a little bit of it, it will bring the great results. Swalpamapi asya dharmasya. The efforts are not too many, not too much of efforts. A little effort will bring the great effect. And what effect is promised? Trayate mahato bhayat. It will deliver you that from all fears. Every fear in life, big fears like the fear of death, fear of being, non-existent, or life becoming meaningless, all those fears will be taken away if you practice a little bit of it. And then he uses the word business. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. This business-like attitude is very focused, single-pointed, ekeha. that everything is focused on that. If you are not focused, if you do not have that focus, then what happens? If you do not have that ideal in life, that this is that what I want to achieve, then bahushakha yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam, then your attention will be fleeting every moment. It will go on branching and branching and branching ad infinitum, no stopping to it. Today you will think that let this be my ideal. But if you waver about it, if you do not fix it, then what? Next moment you will think, no, that is better. You will give this up and try that. Also that you will not hold on to, because this becomes a habit. Keep on shifting the ideals, shifting the goals as it happens with children. You must have seen, take a child in a toy shop and then takes up one, very nice, but there is another one, ultimately what is to be bought, if you put a restriction, choose anyone, but you have only one choice, and then the confusion of the child can be just imagined. And we are actually like that, we are also grown-up babies, that's all, when it comes to that. And our toys are somewhat different, but the thing is same in the world. So many things are put forth. What should be taken? Should I take up this? And as soon as you take it up, you see that the other is better. Before you actually take it up, you think that this is very nice. But once you take it up, then you see that there are some others, they are very nice. Once I was thinking of about buying a computer, and a friend of mine who is a computer engineer, he told that to avoid disappointment, my suggestion is buy a model which is a little older. Means what you already have bought something older, so you will not worry about what all new models are coming up, because they are more or less similar, just advertisements, and some cosmetic features are changed, and you are told that it is great and this, and then what you have, you feel is not good enough. So buy already something that is already on the lower shelf. Don't buy on the higher shelf, because then you will think tomorrow the new model will come, and you will start, instead of using and being happy with what you got, you will start thinking, oh, I should have waited another month. And it is so true. People keep on thinking about it. I bought this phone, but I should have waited for another month. And then because that one was coming, and I didn't think about it. Now I see that I should have waited for a little more time. So unnecessary means what you spent a lot of money, and what did you get out of it? That suffering. I should have bought that one. So the ideal keeps on shifting then. What you see, now you take it and then start worrying about the other things. Do not make use of what you have got. So, a vyavasaya means business. It is a business-like attitude is single-pointed. Ekeha Purunandana means Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, that business-like attitude is a single-minded focus. And if you do not have that single-minded focus, then it will always be shifting and shifting, will not be able to achieve anything. So, let us see now what this single thing in life that we can concentrate on is. This single thing must be such that it does not leave out anything. Why, we pick up one and then start thinking about others? Because the one that you have chosen does not include it. And so, we are not very satisfied. Oh yes, I like to study medicine, no doubt, but then I will have to miss studying political science, and which when I meet students at the school, and then I see the confusion. I have not decided what I want to study, and they keep on changing the branches. That is not interesting. I thought that it will be so nice, but it is too difficult. So I want to give it up. It is so the efforts are wasted because you do not see everything included in the thing that you are choosing. So your goal, your focus must be on such a thing that it includes everything. Is there such a thing in the world that getting which everything can be gotten? Yes, Bhagavad Gita tells about it. Many Upanishads tell about it. Jesus tells about it. That there is that thing, getting which you will not ask for anything more. What you get includes everything. Everything is included. It is like that child who is confused whether I should pick this from the shop or that from the shop. Okay, pick up the whole shop. So you won't miss anything. I am picking only one thing, the shop. So if I pick up the shop, I will get everything. Just take it as an analogy. You may otherwise say, well, there are other shops. But is there something like that, getting which everything can be gotten? Well, this has been a constant theme in Vedanta. In Bhagavad Gita, it is told, Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadikam tatha. In 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you read this verse, that if you get this, then no other attainment will be worth having. Everything is included in this attainment. And if you get this, even if lot of sufferings and miseries, externally speaking, come to you, you will not be actually tormented by them. You will not budge from this state of bliss if you get this thing. So what is it? There is one such thing, there has to be, and that is missed most of the times because our attention is getting things from the outside. And we feel, yesterday we were discussing about it, that we feel a sense of imperfection. I am not perfect. And then we keep on adding things from the world so that I will feel perfect. I am not feeling perfect because, I feel alone. If I add spouse to myself, then it will be all perfect. And then all those who have spouse should have felt perfected, is it not? If that is the lacuna, but well, I don't have to speak about it. It is, you feel, well, probably the children are not there, so that if children come, that will make things perfect. And so have children, that is, still the imperfection remains. More money, more estate, more wealth, keep on adding. The imperfection does not go by that. and the attention being outside, you think, well, a little more, and then it becomes a disease, friends. Disease is such a thing that you become aware that this is your problem now, but you cannot really get rid of it. It is, I know one of my friends, a very successful businessman in the sense that he has achieved lot of wealth and all those things through business. But there is, he says, now I have got so much money that really I cannot spend, even if my children or my grandchildren do not do anything in life. What is there will be able to, they can live a luxurious life with that. But then the worry comes, what will happen to the next generation? Unfounded worry. But what about them? I should then I keep on working and working like a slave. What you were reading, that it is a work of a slave. I don't need to do it. He says that I want, sometimes I feel I should sit in the ashrama and meditate and be peaceful. How peaceful it feels here. But that feeling comes, oh, I have to go and do that business. Let me complete it and then I will go and sit peacefully here. But that business becomes a disease. Has to go and work there. Actually, his children are so good, they are taking care of it. He doesn't need to do anything. In fact, they feel that, well, you unnecessarily are interfering. But because of his, no, my children still need support. Children don't need, but you feel because of your slavish attitude that you have to go and help them out. As if God is not there who can help them, but you can help them. So, this kind of business, therefore, does not bring satisfaction and becomes a disease. Keep on adding more and more and more and more. None of them is bringing any sense of perfection or fulfillment. So, what is that getting which one will become fulfilled, and why do I not see it? The problem is it is not outside. It is within us. It is hidden within us. Our true self, our true nature, which the sages declare, those who have experienced it, they declare that it is your divine true nature, getting which nothing else will be needed. You will be a fulfilled, perfect person, and you have to get it. If you get it, as Jesus says, that the kingdom of heaven is within you. A very important statement, really. When I was explaining this at Brown University, the chaplains group, so the Catholic priest there, the Catholic chaplain, very nice man, he comes to me and says, well, you were again and again telling that God within you. We do not emphasize it that much. And I said, well, this is in the New Testament, this is Jesus says this. He said, yes, it is there in the scripture, but we don't emphasize it that much. We say, Father who is in heaven, but we don't emphasize that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And that is an important thing to see, that it is right with you, and getting which nothing else will be needed in life. Nothing else will be missed, friends. Nothing else. As Jesus says, that ye first seek the kingdom of heaven, everything else will be added unto it. Everything everything else will be added into it, friends. We fools, we waste all life in seeking everything else first and thus miss everything. It is not possible. Look at this one thing first. If you do it well, everything else will be taken care of. There was a great Sufi saint in India, Rahim his name. He has this beautiful couplet. He says that, look, if you do one thing right, this one thing right, everything else will be done right. If you try to do many things, neither one nor many, nothing will be done right. And he gives a nice example, beautiful analogy, that if you water the roots of a plant, every single leaf will get watered. But if you take a dropper and try to water every single leaf, neither the leaves, nor the roots, nor the branches, nothing will get water. So, this is very important, friends, that if we realize our true self, that is the greatest gain. What a wonderful business. That it is promising you the greatest possible gain, getting which nothing further will be needed. Isn't it a wonderful idea of going into this business? That you can get it, and there is no loss possible in this. In this business, there is absolutely no possibility of any loss. What do you need to invest in this? In this business, what you need to put as investment, only that which otherwise also you are going to lose. I like that story. Sometimes I had told it here, or I think that two friends, they went for a purchase. They were staying in a village. Their residence was in a village, and to a big city they came for purchasing. They were neighbors, and one of them saw that there are so many things to be bought, but he doesn't have enough money with him. So he suggested to the friend, can you lend me $1,000? As soon as we go back home, I will return it to you. And the friend had no doubt about the honesty of this person. And he said, okay, here they are. And then, as they were going to another shop to buy, a robber from nowhere jumps in. Hey! Give whatever you have. Come on, bring it out quickly. And this friend who had taken $1,000, he says, oh friend, I am returning your money right now to you. Not a good example of friendship. But what is the meaning? It was anyway going to be taken away. So at least I don't have to give it twice. It is going to be taken away. See, everything that we hold on in this life as ours, as mine, it will remain with me. The passage of time is eating everything, taking it away very quickly, more quickly than we realize. That it is, the days pass by, as that beautiful verse of Sri Shankaracharya says, that look, the whole, the wealth is like the waves on the waters. They come and it moves continuously. Lakshmi, Toya, Taranga, Bhanga, Chapala. It is so nimble-footed, moves all the time. So you cannot rely on that. It is uncertain. And Vidyut Chalam Jivitam, this whole life comes and goes like the lightning. And you to call somebody, oh lightning, it is gone. So also somebody born, died, that's it. It is so uncertain. How long am I going to live? So the idea is all these things that we collect, they are not, they are going to be taken away from us anyway. Anyway, they will have to be taken away. Then give up voluntarily. Give up means do not call them yours. Do not develop an attachment for them. And don't think that they are yours. Because firstly it is a lie. You may say, this house is mine. Well, the cockroaches staying there, they also say that house is mine. Isn't it? Why? What is special about you that you say that it is my house? And they also have the same claim that it is their house. It is not a correct thing to say that it is my house. It is a convention, all right, but to have this idea that I own it, is not real, not true. So do not have that feeling, do not have that attachment. Give up that. That is the investment. Give up the attachment for those things which we hold on to out of this ignorance. Give it up. That is the investment. That investment, what does it cost you? Anyway, it is going away. And it is not going to stay. I didn't know much of this financial investment. And then I said, well, if I invest in here, there, somewhere, then we may lose money. But our investment of that consultant said, that is true, that you may lose, who knows. But if you don't invest, otherwise also you are losing it. Why don't you think about that? I said, how? Well, the inflation, the value goes down. You will have the same face value, but its purchase value is going down. Don't you see that? And I realized, yes, exactly, that is the case, yeah. Even otherwise also, if we are not making use of it, it is also going down. So, similarly, whatever we have, like our youth, our physical prowess, our ability to think, all these also are dwindling, going away. So make best use of it. Invest it in achieving the goal of life. And what you achieve in this, it is never lost. No side effects. This will not have any side effects. In business, there is competition. One has to be careful about it. You have to calculate that in the business model, that you may be thinking that there is so much business outside, but you are not the only one. There will be many people to pick a finger in the pie. You will not be, there is competition there. And so, in this business of realizing our true self, this is the only business where there is absolutely no competition. Think of it, you don't know competition. This person A can realize true self. The person B, without any problem, without any competition, can also do the same thing. There is no such thing. Well, this fellow already has captured that market. I am gone. This fellow realized this self. Now for me, no, you also can realize this self without getting into any sorts of competition. So there is no risk of competition either. Other things, therefore, so many vices that we don't want, they come in other type of business. Undercutting somebody, cheating, all those practices. We sometimes, therefore, people in business say, in business it's fair. It is, and they have that quote that, well, in love and war everything is fair. Business is kind of a war, So I am in business to tell lies. It is fair. It is.